I mean, good thing we have a GM you could trust, right? And I think, for trade conversations, like the 3013 put up, fellas, and I saw this graphic, you sent it to me, Boone, and it's a player that, I've mentioned on this show a lot as my kind of trade deadline prediction. I think they go get an edge at the deadline, and I think that player is Haason Reddick. And they 3013 put this graphic out, trades that should happen before the draft. This isn't even before the deadline. This is before the draft. And they put out the Cardinals getting T. Higgins. Okay, that's an interesting one. They have the Broncos getting good old Davis Mills.
What the fuck is it? Did they just slide this in there?
And then, of course, the Vikings number 23 and 11 to move up to 5 to get J.J. McCarthy. And the other one is the Lions trading pick 61 and 164 for Haason Reddick. Now, that would be their last third-round pick. So, they would have a first, a second, then they'd have a fifth. So I don't think Brad would do this. Now, I will ask you guys this. You know what? In the future, Haason Reddick deadline, last year of his contract, come chase a Super Bowl, need an edge, baby. I like the Haason Reddick, man. I think that's somebody that I could see Brad, on a short-term deal, fellas, going out and grabbing to kind of go chase a Super Bowl.
Did you see his cap hit?
What's his cap hit? I know he's making like.
Dude, I think it's like 20 million this year. He has like a $20 million cap hit or something like that.
One year left. What is $20 million?
I think it's 20, but I think there's like an opt out or there's some, I don't know. I was trying to look at the contract today. It was confusing, but I think it's like a 20 something $million cap. I don't know what happened if they traded for him. I mean, he's a dog either way though. Absolute
real quick.
dog.
I'm an idiot. 61 is their second round pick. Excuse me. So they'd have their first, a third, and then the fifth. And so just correction there. But Haason Reddick, fellas, Lucas, what do you think?
It's tough because I think like instinct, you just go like yes, but then you look at the second round pick and you look at the Lions, they still need somebody in the cornerback room. And I know they talked about adding something in free agent possibly, but I just think that second round pick is too valuable for a guy that you could possibly lose after this year. And I know it's like, that's exactly what you need on the opposite side of Hutch. But if there's an injury, if anything goes wrong, you just lost a second round pick. And you lost more ammunition with the 64 pick for Brad to trade back up in the draft, even if it's into the fourth round. I mean, he's found guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown in the fourth round. So I love Haason Reddick, but if I'm sitting here and they already lost a pick in the top 3 rounds, I know they still have 3, but I think Brad's more dangerous when he has draft picks, and I would rather just keep the second round pick.
I'm kind of with Lucas on this. I don't. Brad is very. You know what? Actually, I'm going to throw this out there too. Have you guys felt Brad's been good at drafting defensive edges and defensive linemen?
No.
So do you like that's where no. Yeah, so that's where I kind of went with it. Was like, do you think he could get a guy in the second round that's better than Haason Reddick, or like potentially could get to that point? Maybe not. Especially like he had 9 sacks last year. He's had like 50 sacks in 4 seasons, like something insane amount. So if you feel like you can get like he can help your team out this year more than you like a second round pick, or the only thing with Brad is again he's a guy who wants to bring guys in and players in and build with them and like build from the ground up. So that's where I don't see him doing this because of that. If I was going to say to make the trade, I almost would say yeah, because Brad hasn't really drafted any good edges or defensive linemen, and being able to, hey, let's just give our second round up to get him. I don't hate the idea because like Aiden Hutchinson and Haason Reddick is in it. That's an insane 1-2. Like, that's way better than Aiden Hutchinson and Chop Robinson. Like 10 to 100 times better. So
don't bring that over here.
You see what I'm saying? You guys see where I'm going with that, though. You see where I'm going with that.
But the man on the other side of Chop Robinson, if you ask me, I mean, there's a couple guys, like you even look at like the Jonah Ellis's, the Darius Robinson. I've been hyping them up to you guys lately, but Adisa Isaac. There's a couple guys like in the second round where we talked about it. You don't need him to just be an absolute monster right away. What they need is somebody on the other side of Hutch that can just win one-on-ones. At the very minimum, win one-on-ones, because you have DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil now. Just win one-on-ones while the other guys are getting double teamed, and you'll naturally make an impact. And I think there are guys in the second round that can do that at the end of the day will be here for cheaper. And if you can make a trade at the trade deadline to still go get an edge guy to make a Super Bowl run if you need to at the deadline.
Fellas, here's the thing. I want more draft capital for Brad. So I don't think it's going to happen right now. But you let the season open up. You get to see who you have in that defensive line room at edge. Can Houston live up to what he was? What does Pascal look like? What's Davenport? If you're not getting much production on the other side of Aiden, you get this man. You get him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. Like, I want the trade. I just don't think it's going to happen right now. And it's smart. The smart business move for this would be, Brad, see what you have. The Eagles, they know unless they get an extension done for Reddick, it's going to be hard. They got a lot of money tied up to players. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. You can go get them. And you can trade next year's draft capital, which you have plenty of. And I think you'd get them for cheaper because it would be really for a little over half the season, maybe. So it'd be cheaper. So I'm all for this trade. I just don't think it's going to happen right now. But before the deadline, this is the trade, guys.
I don't see Brad
right here.
Post draft, I'm all for it.
Pre-draft, I'm with you guys.
If you get into the season and you're having issues again with that defensive line, you can't go back-to-back years and head into the postseason with issues in your defensive line. Like that's what showed one of the reasons you got beat. If you have that issue again this year, you have to address it. Maybe this is something where Haason Reddick is available and he doesn't get traded this offseason, and you're like, okay, let's go grab him. I do find it very as well. Two more things is I don't see the Eagles being like, yeah, we'll trade him to the Lions. Like another, I could see maybe, I could see an NFC team maybe, but like another contending team just being like, hey, have Haason Reddick with Aiden Hutchinson, and then we'll meet you in the NFC Championship game, and Haason Reddick's going to have a sack, and Aiden's going to have a sack and a half, and you guys are going to beat us. Like that is Howie Roseman will not let that happen, so I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
and Steve said that we traded Swift to him, but to me that was a little different in my opinion.
It's almost like sabotage.
You just got Jahmyr Gibbs.
This is your RB1.
Yeah, and you just drafted Jahmyr Gibbs.
Crazy.
You get I see it a little different. Like if you give us Haason Reddick, that defense just goes up here, and like you just go from here to here with it. And I think Howie Roseman would see that. Like Swift didn't take their offense from here to all the way up here. Like their offense struggled towards the end of the year.